what are those micro things that might result in people not having that love affair that they once did with their employer?
Well, I think there's always different factors for different companies, but in referencing some of the findings from this poll, I think they're very similar themes when we're working with companies and what we're hearing. And what we're finding is that this decline it began late in 2021. And if you think about what was going on in the world and the remote work and drastic shift for many in how they are functioning within their role, some of the items that impacted that engagement ratio, first off, are clarity of expectations. If you can imagine working with your team and or your manager and how that may have looked prior to 2021 and maybe what it looked like at that time. I think for a lot of workers it's quite different. Also for businesses, it's definitely was a very trying time and businesses having to move quickly and operate a little differently than they perhaps did in the past. And I do think that sometimes when you're in that state of operations, that clarity of what's expected from the team members in order to shift to that new goal isn't always communicated effectively.
Yeah, and the communication piece is so important. I mean, we offer DISC assessments for our clients because we know that it's so important to understand communication styles and how to lead and navigate individuals through change. I think that piece is important. Another thing to call out is just the demographics that experience the most adjustment
Mhm.
in this period of time. It said that young workers, women, and remote ready on site workers dropped in engagement. And so
Mhm.
these three unique demographics are all being falling out of love with their employer. I think young workers are stepping into jobs for the first time where there's been a lot of uncertainty around how businesses perform and what's expected and all of these layoffs that we're seeing. And so young workers may be stepping into an environment where they're not used to or having to embrace, the changing climate of business. The other aspect, women, we have seen the rise of just the invisible work and having to manage affairs at home while also having to manage and show up present at work and lead well, maybe in a
Mhm.
way that households where there's a better balance of work, it's not reflected. And then I
Mhm.
think with the remote ready on-site workers, it's the people that said, hey, look, I've got my laptop, I've got the tools, I can work anywhere, but they're being asked to come into the office and be tethered to their desk. So that just kind of speaks to the different demographics that we have at work. It makes our
Mhm.
lives as HR leaders a little bit more fun and interesting to make strategies and recommendations that keep these different demographics into account.